Hey everyone, Matt here from Dr. Ring, and today we're going to do a comparison review, or should I upgrade, episode with the ASICS Gel-Cumulus series, specifically the ASICS Gel-Cumulus 25 versus the Cumulus 26. So just got this shoe in, got a ton of miles on it, about 30 miles on it so far. I got 45 miles on the last pair. Really enjoyed the last version just because the new midsole material was very soft, but it was also really light. 9 ounces is incredibly light for one of the standard daily training shoes, especially from ASICS. And the other thing that I really liked is there was out now a much more rockered and sole and a heel bevel, which ASICS kind of has struggled with until recently. Now doing a better job. What I didn't necessarily like was the fact that the shoe was so flared that, yes, it made it a little more stable neutral, but it also made the heel a little bit more clunky. A lot of that has been fixed, but also changed in version 26, where even though it's still a Flight Foam Blast midsole plus midsole at the top, they've added something called Fluid Ride on the bottom. The purpose was to increase traction and durability, and to be honest with you, neither of those things have seemed to improved. I have, like I said, 30 miles in this pair. It is I'm wearing through this a lot quicker, and the durability feels basically the same. So that's not what really changes it. What does change is the fact that these two different midsole materials do change the ride as well as the new geometry. So before we get into that, let's talk about the specs. Men's size 9 over here in version 25 is 9 ounces. Men's size 9 over in the Cumulus 26 is also 9 ounces. Here's where it gets interesting. Version 25 for women's size 8 comes in at 8.1 ounces. Version 26 coming in at 7.8 ounces. Don't ask me, I'm just reporting what I'm told. Stack height wise, version 25 was reported at 37.5 for men's and 29.5 in the forefoot for an 8mm drop. The newest version is being reported as 38.5, 30.5, and again for the women's version, subtract 1mm there. So supposedly a small increase in stack height, and that is how it kind of feels. And I don't know if that's from an actual measurement or from the fact that the midsole material over here, even though it's supposed to be the same, does feel a lot softer in version 25. Version 26 feels a little bit firmer, and there's a contrast there where, yes, the same foam, it just feels a little bit firmer and a little bit more rockered. What's interesting is the Fluid Ride was supposed to soften the shoe up, and what happens is you land, it feels like firm, and then at the very end of the loading phase, you kind of feel a little bit of softness. So I think I compressed through the midsole and finally gets that little bit of softness at the very end, but overall, a firmer ride with 26 versus 25. It is also much more rockered. The nice thing is, yes, both have heel bevels. The flare on version 25 made this shoe a little bit clunky in the rear foot. That has definitely been fixed with version 26, much smoother heel transition. It's also very stable neutral. The sidewalls come up much higher in version 26 than they do in 25, so it's something you like. Like for me, I love that. It really made for a stable neutral heel. If you don't like that, just know that 25 might work a little bit better for you. The version 26 is also a little stiffer. Version 25 felt like it had more flexibility. This feels a little more stiff, and there's also a larger forefoot rocker, and there's a lot more toe spring in version 26. 25 didn't have that as much. Toes are in a little more neutral position. This, you can actually see the upward curve, and it really feels like my toes are extended. It also makes the shoe feel a little bit short. Upper-wise, the forefoot room is actually fairly comparable, a little bit wider in version 25. Version 26 is a little bit more tapered at the toe box. The rest of the shoe is fairly similar. Also, the upper knit does have a little bit more flex in version 25. 26 is a little bit more secure and locks things down, which is great, but it also feels more tapered and slightly more short. So if you're between sizes, you might want to consider experimenting and trying a half size up. For the rest of us, the shoe does break in, and I have been a little nervous taking it for long runs, but so far I haven't had any toe blisters. But just be aware that toe spring is a little aggressive in this shoe. Outside of that, it's still a standard daily training shoe. The only last difference is 26 is the faster of the two of them. I really like the softer ride on the 25 for easy runs, and it felt really, really comfortable. 26 with the slightly firmer sole and the little bit more rockered ride does feel faster. It's felt much more natural to do workouts in it. I've done a up-tempo run. I've done hill repeats. I've done a fartlek in it. This one, I didn't do that stuff as much because it just felt better to do easier efforts. So if you want something a little bit more up-tempo, picking up the pace, a little bit more rockered ride, a smoother heel, you don't care if there's a little more toe spring, the version 26 is going to work a lot better for you. But if you want a little bit more room in the toe box, at least a little more stretch, if you want a soft ride and honestly a little bit more durability, but I'll keep testing this one, version 25 might be the better option. So whichever one works better for you, let us know. But hopefully this helps you, because that's another comparison review.